Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in.
What's up?
You're listening to the Mustang Informative. We're just about to go live on radio, so just hang tight. Alright, got about, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. You're listening to the CBC Tower Radio, and with you today are your hosts, DJ Husky.
And DJ Sawyer.
All right, you're listening to the Mustang Informative, the latest and greatest in the news on and off campus. We've got a great show for you today. Before we get into any of that, though, we should probably jump into the weather and verse of the day. So today's weather, it is the 15th. It is 63 degrees Fahrenheit outside. That's 17 degrees Celsius for all you German savages across the pond. It says we got a little bit of fog and mist. Actually, it says that, and now it says it's 54 degrees Fahrenheit and 18 degrees Celsius. So, it says that. I haven't really seen any fog or mist, but it might be
It
out
was
about.
really foggy whenever I came in this morning.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. Do you live a little bit out of town?
I live in the same park that you do.
You live a little bit out of town.
Sort of.
No.
Like,
I don't know. It was.
but it wasn't foggy at home, but I drove into the fog and then drove out of it again whenever I got to campus. It was really weird.
So there's a little bit of fog and mist out there, so be careful while you're on the roads. Be sure to have those fog lights on. Other than that, it's really cloudy today. It's really cool though, so I don't mind it.
And it's raining.
Yes, it's currently raining right now. At least last time I checked. Last time I poked my head out. Humidity is 94%. We have an easterly wind of 5 miles per hour. The forecast for this afternoon is 40% chance of rain and a chance of T-storms as well, with a high of 72. And then tonight we have a low of 49. Once again, that percentage of rain goes up to 50% with a chance of T-storms coming along with it. Tomorrow you can expect sunny weather, or at least as far as for the weather.gov is concerned, with a high of 66 degrees and a low of 42 degrees later that night with a clear sky. And you're going to see clear skies all the way up until Friday night, where it starts to get cloudy with a low of 51 degrees. And then finally Saturday, it looks like we're going to go back up to a high of 74 with it being partly sunny. Now, throughout the week, you've got a lot of a range between the 60s, high 60s and low 70s. So it looks like it might be heating up a little bit. I don't know about that. We'll have to see because, last broadcast when we went over the forecast, we were dead wrong. It cooled down a lot. So let's hope that it stays cool and doesn't start hiking back up to the 80s and high 70s.
Definitely.
So, but yeah, that's the forecast for this week. J. Sawyer, why don't you take us through the verse of the day?
All right. So today's verse of the day is 2 Samuel 7:22, and it says, "Therefore you are great, O Lord God, for there is none like you, and there is no God besides you, according to all that we have heard with our ears." And that's from the English Standard Version. So.
That's a good verse because that kind of gets your focus back on God. Where a lot of people lose focus about it. They start, there's a lot of good things in the Bible, but we as a Christian, I think this verse kind of calls us as Christians to make sure our focus remains on God. So
A whole lot of truth packed in that verse.
So yeah, it's a good verse. Once again, that was 2 Samuel chapter 7, verse 22 from the English Standard Version. So if you want to check that out, do it. There's a lot of good verses in there, too. Not just that one. Read the whole book.
2 Samuel's a really cool book, honestly.
All right. So we've got the verse of the day and the weather, so I guess we're going to go ahead and move on to breaking news from around the world.
Woohoo. What do we got today?
So we've got a few things. First of all, we're going to go ahead and talk about the recent news. if you've been following the news at all, you've probably heard about the typhoon that moved through Japan. Probably one of the worst that the Kanto region in Japan has seen. Uh, More damage was found in the Japanese typhoon aftermath. The toll of death, and this is from the AP News. The toll of death and destruction from a typhoon that tore through central and northern Japan climbed Tuesday, as the government said it was considering approving a special budget for the disaster response and eventual reconstruction. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe told the parliamentary session that the number of deaths tied to Typhoon Hagibis had climbed to 53 and they're expected to rise, as at least another 9 people are presumed dead. Japanese Kyoto News Agency, citing its own tally, put the death toll at 69. So,
Goodness.
pray for the people there in Japan. They're going through a lot. That typhoon did a lot of damage. You know, they've had their fair share of disasters and troubles in that part of the world recently. So,
Yeah.
just pray for them that God would have His grace on that part of the world, and that His glory would kind of come out in that situation. So, but yeah, that's a Typhoon Hagibis. So thankfully, it's over now, and they're starting to reconstruct. So
That's good.
second breaking news that we have is news from Spain, specifically Catalan. So this is kind of a progressing news story that started all the way back in I think last year, when Catalan was actually trying to Barcelona was actually trying to apply for they were trying to separate from the rest of Spain. So protests have erupted in Spain as Spain they convicted a few Catalan separatists, and they've clashed. I believe today actually. So this is once again from the AP. Riot police engaged in a running battle with angry protesters outside Barcelona's airport Monday, after Spain's Supreme Court convicted 12 separatist leaders of illegally promoting the wealthy Catalonian region's independence and sentenced 9 of them to prison.
Goodness.
Officers fired foam bullets and used batons against thousands of protesters who converged on the airport after the verdict was announced in Madrid. Protesters fought back by throwing objects, spraying dark clouds with fire extinguishers, and breaking windows during clashes that lasted into the night. So we've got a lot of struggle over there, and a lot of strife, and a lot of unrest. So it's a difficult situation, It's a unique situation as well, because I don't know. I'm not sure of the history, but this is the first time I've heard of like a big push for Catalan and Barcelona to separate from Spain. So
They've been trying to separate for a little bit, but it's mostly been peaceful.
right.
So
I know this is a big thing
starting to escalate.
because they produce a lot of the country's GOP, and so I think it's almost like a Brexit situation where it's kind of unfairly yoked. So, but yes, so that's what Spain's doing. That's what's happening in Spain at the moment. Elsewhere in breaking news, we're going to go ahead and move to Syria and, in a way, Russia. So Russia moves to fill the void left by U.S. in northern Syria. So this is just breaking. Russia moved to fill the void left by the United States in northern Syria on Tuesday, deploying troops to keep apart advancing Syrian government forces and Turkish troops. At the same time, tensions grew within NATO as Turkey defied growing condemnation of its invasion from its Western allies. Now in its 7th day, Turkey's offensive against Kurdish fighters have upended alliances and is redrawing the map of northern Syria for yet another time in the 8-year-old war. Russia moved quickly to further entrench its role as a power broker after President Donald Trump ordered the pullout of American forces in northeastern Syria. The American move effectively abandoned the Kurdish fighters, who allied with the U.S. and cleared the way for Turkey's invasion aimed at crushing them. So again, this is from the AP. So this is kind of things are kind of overspilling all over the world from what we can tell. So there's a lot of big news that's happening, a lot of movers and shakers, and I'm at least glad somebody stepped in to kind of defend that part of the world, because I know that it was up in the air as to whether the Kurds were going to have any way of getting out of that. So, going to definitely be closely watching that situation, seeing how that progresses, and let's hope that it comes to a conclusion that doesn't end in further violence.
We can hope.
So that was the breaking news for today. Not very happy news, but news nonetheless. That's all I am asked to give you. Don't ask me anything more of me. So.
As far as campus news goes, it's a little bit happier. Yearbook pictures are going to be taken next week on Tuesday and Wednesday, October 22nd and 23rd. That'll be happening from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. in KB 106 in the Cooper Complex. So be prepared for that. We would love you all to come. We need as many people to come and get their yearbook portraits as possible, just because it's what the yearbook is for. So we would love to see you there, and we'll announce that again next week whenever we come on air.
Absolutely.
Um,
Once again, that's October 22nd and
Yes.
October 23rd, Tuesday and Wednesday, from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. KB 106, Cooper Complex.
Yep.
I'm not saying it again.
And the Tower newspaper also comes out this week,
Excellent.
this Friday on October 18th. The theme is truth, and I have heard that it's going to be a very interesting edition. So I'm really excited about it. And
Definitely
just
check it
a
out.
sneak peek, there are aliens involved. So definitely pick one up whenever they're dispersed early Friday morning across campus. You can find them in any building. Pretty much anywhere that there's a chair.
Let us know what you think of the
So-
of the paper, and be sure to let us know what you think about aliens as well. Just leave it in the box outside Mrs. G's
Yes.
office.
And if you can't find a paper for whatever reason, it will also be online in PDF form at the cbctower.com, so you can access it there as well. The only other thing we have for campus news this week is education majors. You still need to get your application packets from the education hallway if you have not yet. If you're going to apply for the program for the spring semester, and those are due on November 1st, and you'll need to turn them in the education hallway as well. So if you are an education major and you're going to apply for the program for the spring, you need to pick those up and start working on those, because those are due in 2 weeks. So I would get on that.
All right.
And real quick, we need to talk about sports.
All right, yeah. Jumping into sports. The Lady Mustang volleyball team came up short against the Missouri Baptist Spartans last Friday, 0-3. But they managed to come out on top against the Harris Stowe University Hornets 3-1 last Saturday. So
Good job, ladies.
That's a good victory. We'll take anything we can get. So, victory is great. So. Be sure to cheer on them on in their next game. The volleyball team will face the Texas College Steers on Tuesday, October 15th at 7 p.m. Dallas Christian College on Saturday, October 19th at 9:30 a.m. and the Cody College Comets on October 19th at 1:30 p.m. All 3 games will be held at the Redden Fieldhouse. Bring your student ID to get in. By the way, that means you have no excuse not to show up and cheer them on. So, the Mustang and Lady Mustang soccer teams lost 0-2 and 0-7 against the Columbia College Cougars last Saturday. But you get to see them try to make a run back and see them come back better than ever. They'll be facing William Woods University Owls at the Centennial Soccer Complex today. That's today, people, October 15th. The ladies' kickoff is at 1 p.m., and the men's kickoff is at 3 p.m. So right after you're done listening to the show, go over there.
Actually, I think I got those times wrong.
Okay.
Pretty sure they're tonight, but
Tonight.
you can find more details at the cbcmustangs.com, because I'm pretty sure I forgot to change the times on those.
Make me look unprofessional.
I am so sorry, Eli. I can fix that real quick while you go through the rest of it.
But yeah, you can find the official information on the cbc.com. Just go to quick links and go to athletics, and you show all the teams' information. Last week in Magnolia, the Mustang and Lady Mustang cross-country teams competed at the FAU Fall Invitational. The Mustangs finished 6th of 8, and the Lady Mustangs finished 8th of 8. Both cross-country teams will be competing in Little Rock at Rebsamen Park all day this Saturday, October 19th, at the Little Rock Invitational Meet, so be sure to show up to that. All CBC Athletics stats can be found on the Athletics website, cbcmustangs.com. Anyway, you guys have been listening to the Mustang Informative. That's all we have for you this week. Be sure to tune in this Friday to the Doghouse at 3:10, where we talk about the latest in gaming news, reviews, and discussion. You guys have been listening to the Mustang Informative. This is DJ Husky
And DJ Sawyer.
signing out. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, guys.